everyone, Chicken here, and this is I'm not sure if it's long awaited for, but Clash Lane tier list. I wanted to wait a bit until I could make this because I didn't think I was credible enough, but again, this is going to be for, I don't know, I said it again, but this is for ranked exclusively, and something I do consider is how hard the hero is. It's not just how objectively good they are. Because there are heroes that, sure, if you play them at the pro quality level, they're like S tier, but it's hard for the average player to get to that pro quality level. So I'm basically approaching this as, hey, you're going to choose a character to learn, and how long you're going to take to learn it is going to be included in the actual ranking of the character. So a super hard character, again, could be ranked lower than what they would be at their peak performance. And there are like some niche Clash laners I'm not including, like Ukio or so. Like, I'm including some niche ones. I'm only including a Clash laner I have seen before. So there are niche ones, but there are niche ones I've never seen before. And if I've never seen them before in my almost 500 games of playing this season, I'm over 100 stars. I have like a 56, 57% win rate ranked. So like, I'm not the greatest player ever, obviously, but I feel like I've played enough to where I understand a lot about the game and, you know, how good heroes are. So here, all the Clash laners, I triple checked. I don't think I missed any, but if I have, let me know in the comments and I'll let you know what I think about them. Let's get right into it. So, I'll just do this with how I listed them here. So, Ata. I've seen him some play Clash. He's actually pretty strong in the early game. Bit sustainy. A little bit of damage, a little bit of CC. He's got everything, but the biggest problem for him is he hard falls off into like obscenity. So unless you super hard snowball with your team, you end in 10 minutes or less. Not that great. So I'm going to put him down, I think C tier. He might be D tier. But I'll leave him in D for now, actually. And then we'll see how the other ones turn out. Elaine. Elaine, I would feel as if he's like a... He used to be really good. He got nerfed, and he's kind of like barely played now. I would put him in B, because I think there are a lot of other characters that are a lot better. He's still pretty solid. I've seen some really good Elaines, but you have to play in a very specific way, where you like ult dive the backline, pray you have enough damage to one-shot them, or they have no mobility, or you are dead because you're hard committing. And then playing lane, he's actually... Well, lane phase with Elaine. He's pretty decent. But you usually run execute, so if you get ganked and you're caught off guard, you don't really have a lot of escape pre-4. So I'll leave him in B for now. Arthur, really easy to get into as a newbie. One of the stronger Clash laners, especially for the early ranks, because you're so oppressive in the early game. I also put him in B, definitely weaker than Elaine though. But pretty solid newbie Clash laner. If you have no idea what you're doing, you don't really want to think about what your hero does, pick him. He's just like Garen from League. He's pretty similar to Valmond. Yeah, really easy to learn. Auguron. This is like borderline meme C tier Clash laner. I'll put him in C. I don't think he's that memey, but he's pretty bad. He's like a for fun Clash laner. You can build him damage, build him tank. I have seen some pretty decent Auguron Clash laners run like Smite, Auguron Clash, and build tank. I've actually gotten railed by one before, but you still basically need to farm a bunch. You need to hope that you don't lose. You lose lane, you're basically useless because you need to be able to snowball. Yeah, C tier. Alright, let's get into like an actual good meta Clash laner. Let's Biron. Biron S. This is gonna be our first S tier. I one-tricked Biron when I first came back to this game. Grinded it out. He is not hard to learn. He has a similar function to D-Roth where you get your red bars, you do bonus damage and bonus effects to your skills. He can carry games for sure. One of the few Clash laners that can carry games. He's got everything. He's got a shield, he's got a slow, he's got a stun, he's got healing. Like an all-in-one Clash laner, perfect one. Bai Chi. He's like low A, high B. He got buffed, I believe, in the previous patch. Not the latest, the previous one before latest. And he's very tanky. You play him, you're basically a full tank Clash laner. You win by being tankier than your opponents, being outsustaining. You rotate in your medicine team fights. You're very bad, though, if you're behind, because your whole kit relies on you being a tank and being able to sustain. A lot of people surprisingly like this hero. I'm very surprised, actually, because I find him very boring. But a lot of people like him. I do agree that he's very simple to play. And if you're new to the game, people always want to just fight you. and this hero is probably the best at that. It's just like pure fighting nonstop. I'd say for the sake of the fact that he's so easy to play and he's like solid, I'll put him in A. The first A tier Clash Laner. Yang Jian. To be honest, I don't see anybody play this character at all. I can't remember the last like 100 games I've seen someone play him. He actually feels fine when I play him. I know in the China server he's actually revamped, and the revamp is not global yet. But there's a lot of people play him, and I played him a bit. He's pretty fun to play. Not one of the greatest. He has... Honestly, I don't know how you're really supposed to play him in team fights. His ult's just a lot of regen, but not a lot of damage. His first skill, he kind of just all-ins, and then you have to just win. If you don't win when you all-in, you're kind of useless. So it's literally the same thing with all these other B-tier Clash Laners, where they just all-in. If they don't like work with their whole combo, they just die, and they're done for. Okay, Lee Sin. Honestly, also a C-tier. He might even be meme-worthy, if it were for the fact that Yellow Lee Sin is not actually terrible, but you can play in like farm lane. I wish I had two different ones for red and yellow, because you don't really interchange. You always go one in a game. Yeah, he's just a split pusher. Oh, wait. Useless dogs. Okay, wait. Pray your team... Wait, no. Pray your team carries you. Okay. So, I would put Lee Sin red. Lee Sin red would go in this tier. Pray your team wins. Now, to explain this tier, I might just get rid of the meme tier. I don't know what I was going to do with this. Pray your team wins, essentially. There are a few Clash Laners that all they do is perma-splits. It's literally their whole shtick. They perma-split and they farm. And I hate those Clash Laners. They can work in ranked, but they're garbage for competitive. And you literally, exactly what it sounds like, you pray your team wins. If your team loses and you perma-split, you don't carry. This game is really, really hard to carry. And these Clash Laners that perma-splits typically can only kill one person at a time. There's like an exception with Hino. But anywho, I don't like these Clash Laners. I don't play them that much, aside from meme or like for fun. The only one I really play is Lee Sin out of the many that I'll list. And well, there's like, I think at least 3 more that are going to be in this tier. I might just get rid of the meme tier, honestly. And we'll leave it there for now. Guan Yu. Guan Yu is definitely an A tier, S tier worthy hero. But for how annoying and hard he is to use, I would just put him in high B. If you get good at this guy and people don't know how to play versus him, you will win a lot. But the higher you go, the more people know how to play versus it, and it'll be a lot harder to get that same value. I'll put him in low A. He's literally the same situation as BaiChi, but I'll say low A for a general rank. All right, Liang Po. I'd also put in A, because he's super easy to use. Super underrated, by the way. Liang Po Clash is like really underrated. You have so much utility. The only thing you don't have is damage, but you have so much utility. You can do so much in team fights. I swear I lose every single time I play versus a good Liang Po Clash lane, because you can't really win lane. What you want to pick into a Liang Po Clash lane is like a farming clash, because you're not going to win, so you just want to farm. But like super tanky, very hard to kill, can rotate and help his team a fuck ton. It's actually insane how useful it is. I'll just put him in high B. I don't think he's better than Elaine, but Elaine's harder to use. Okay, Charlotte. Charlotte, definitely A tier. I'd say high A. Especially, she's pretty easy for a new person to learn once you understand how her kit works. She sustains a lot. You just have to, when you first start playing Charlotte, you have to kind of know how to play the game. Because if you fall behind in her, you are useless. Like, you have a very tough time. This character, you have to be even gold or get a lead. And it's really easy to be even gold or have a lead because she has so much mobility. But if you're learning her, like for me, I lost like I had like a 20% win rate out of 20 games on her because I was still learning her. And then after that, my win rate with her is like 50% now. I got it all the way to 50%, then I had like 40 games, and it's just only going up. So, bit of learning curve on her, but I think it pays off, and she's very, very fun to play. I enjoy playing her a lot. Alright, Dharma, another S tier Clash laner. He's probably the only Clash laner that can just genuinely one-shot squishies, even some bruisers. You literally just like, you will first skill, flash, ults, second skill, first skill again, and you can basically full combo, full melt any sort of squishy hero that doesn't have an armor item. And if you're full build, it doesn't matter if they do have an armor item. Again, S tier is exclusively for Clash laners who can actually carry. And Dharma is also one of those Clash laners that can carry. I would rate him lower than Biron though, because the problem with Dharma is that it's very hard to solo kill the Clash laner if they know what Dharma does, or they know how to play versus Dharma. It's very like how Dharma plays lane is very predictable. It's always the same every single time, and if he doesn't have his skill 2, you just he doesn't really beat anyone. So a lot of times you'll use your skill 2, they try to fight you, you have to just run, and it's hard to get a kill unless you're playing it very risky. Alright, let's go something a little more niche here. Flowborn tank. Probably B tier. Very easy to use, very tanky. Problem is, actually, honestly, he's kind of really good all around it. He has good damage, good tank, good sustain. It's just, you're kind of slow when it comes to rotating and whatnot. So you don't have a lot of mobility, you kind of just walk. So he's in the same boat as like Baichi, Lianpo, like Elaine, these tanks that just have to sort of run. But you have to build defense boots or cooldown boots. You can't really go swiftness boots like a Baichi or like a Baichi would to rotate faster. Honestly, now that I think about it, he's pretty decent. I don't know if people don't play him as much at all. Same situation with Lianpo. He's very popular in jungle in the China server. Flowborn tank is like very popular. But I just don't see him much on the global. But I think he's pretty fun to play. You definitely can't carry. None of the tanks can really hard carry. You're definitely not as tanky as well compared to like the other tanks. I noticed that because you have to go to cooldown reduction items. And those aren't the tankiest items. Your whole kit is based on your cooldowns. But still fun to play. Not terrible either. So I think B tier is pretty fair. Alright, Mulan. People are going to say I am trolling with this. But like, I think Mulan at her peak is like a high A tier hero. But she is just too damn hard to play. Like, she is just genuinely too damn hard to play. I think that's the only thing that really brings her down. She is really hard to play. And because she is so hard, I'm going to put her in B. If you master her, if you one-trick her, spend all your time learning her, she is definitely like a high A, I wouldn't say S, but like high A hero. If you're like a god, you can carry like these S tier Clash laners can. But because she is so hard to learn, for the average person wanting to play a hero and get good at it, I would put her in B. Now, Dune. Dune is like a bottom tier. Honestly, Dune and Arthur... Why is it so laggy right now? Dune and Arthur are in the same boat. Honestly, I might put Arthur down. It's like high C. No, I really look at this whole tier list. Nobody plays Dune Clash in high elo at all. I don't see this guy ever. The only time I ever see him in high elo Clash is if someone is auto-filled. And they don't know what to play in Clash, so they pick Dune. Dune, very strong 1v1 hero. But just don't fight him. And rotate. Full tank Clash laners aren't the greatest because you don't have a lot of damage. Dune can build tank damage items, but then you lose tankiness and then you die in team fights. So a big thing with Clash laners is you need a good damage source, you need some CC, and you need rotation speed. You need one of those three things. You need like every one of those things either, or be really good at two of those things. Or one of those things, I don't know. But you need those three things. And he doesn't have... It's just hard. You don't have a lot of CC for a group. You can knock up people once with your short knockup, but you need that pre-casting skill. Your ult can only really hit... You're really normally going to hit one person. Your regen effect is insane. But in a team fight with all the CC in the game, it's very hard to pop off, I would say. Yeah, but again, I never see this guy anymore in high elo. I don't really see Arthur much either, but a lot of the bots play Arthur and they actually go crazy because the silence is crazy. But Dune, I would say, is probably worse. I'll put him in C. I think this is actually kind of fair. Now, if you are brand new to the game, though, Dune's actually very strong, similar to Baichi, where if they fight you, you win. But the higher you go, the less you will see him, and the worse you will do on him. I stopped playing him by the time I got to, like, Master. Even before Master. Yeah, I think by the time I got Master, I stopped playing because I realized I could not carry games. Alright, Fatih, S tier. I believe this is Fatih. I'm not actually sure because I've never seen his hero icon. Fatih, I would probably put at the top of S tier. I think he is hands down the easiest Clash laner to carry with. He is insane. Nobody can beat you in a 1v1 level 4. You basically beat everyone except like a full tank who you're not going to beat. Unless they just run at you. Like, they can outrun you. You're not really going to kill them, but they're not going to just, you know, fight you and die. Unless they're dumb. But yeah, I've been abusing Fati. I think he's hands down the best Clash laner. Even in, like, competitive, I think he's one of, if not the best. There's nothing that beats him in lane. There's nothing. Like, genuinely nothing. Even one of the strongest 1v1 heroes, Fuzi, does not beat him until Fuzi gets more items. And even then, you can still outplay the Fuzi. Like, hands down. He is pretty simple to play once you learn him. And just, like, what he does. There's definitely a lot of ways you could play him better. But his, like, overall hero mastery is not that much of a curve. I might make a video, hero guide, on Fati and Biron. Because I've played so much of these two, especially in Peak. But I've been hella abusing Fati for Peak. Almost, I'm at like 1750 Peak right now. I've been spamming him a lot. I'm trying to get to 1800. Yeah, I can't get enough of how broken Fati is in Clash and Jungle. Alright, now only a few more left. Dong Huang, kind of meme. He's not that, he's kind of meme, honestly. The more I play him, the more I realize how memey he is. The only time you ever go Dong Huang Clash is if they have like a Jing or a Luna. And even then, I've lost like every single time even doing that. So like, he has a use, he has a shtick where it's like, oh, you go versus a Jing or a Luna if your team doesn't have a suppress. But if you have a Jing or Luna on the enemy team, you should just have your support go Dong Huang if they have a brain. If they don't, it's just kind of terrible. Yeah, you're too slow. You can build full damage and one-shot someone, but like later in the game, everyone has a defense item. You won't be able to one-shot. It's just kind of bad. I'm looking at Yellow Li Shin here. Yellow Li Shin could actually like be a D tier, C tier worthy if you're a master on it, but I'm still gonna leave him here. Okay, Fuzi A tier. I would probably say like up here A tier because he's super easy to use. He's probably the strongest 1v1 hero with items in the game. Because that's how he works. He has true damage in his kit. He has damage reduction up to 65% with his second skill. And if you're constantly fighting, you can maintain that 100% of the time with the normal Fuzi build because of cooldown reduction. And you have an insane engage. Your ult makes them not be able to run for 7 seconds, which is insane if you lock down someone for a team fight. Very easy hero to play. Very good for newbies and even late players that are high stars and whatnot. I like playing him. I don't play much as recently because there's so many heroes I like playing now. But definitely super easy, simple hero to learn. Honestly, I'm just going to put him higher than Charlotte. I'm playing high A. Now, in terms of like pure top tier, if everyone was good, he wouldn't be high A, probably be like mid A. But since he's so easy to use, I'm putting him in high A for ranked purposes only. Mayeen, I'm also going to put in A. She's really... Fuck. Mayeen's going to be low A or high B. She is really good. Really, really, really good. But she is really hard to use. Similar to Mulan. But I think she's easier to use than Mulan. And I see more Mulans than I do Mayeens. So I feel like Mayeen, a big thing is if you learn her, since people see her so little... They don't know how to play versus her. If people don't know how to play versus Mayeen, you will pop off with Mayeen. And if you like, I think it's more worth it to one-trick Mayeen over Mulan. And even in pro play, people play Mayeen like every single time, every single game. But they don't play Mulan. Mulan's very not popular right now in pro play. Honestly, Mayeen will probably be like high, under Charlotte, higher than Bai Chi. If you let me put him there. Super easy to kill people when you are really good at this hero because they don't know what they're doing versus the hero. It's like, how you have to play versus Mayeen is you just build tank items. That's the only real way. And if you don't know how her passive works, like how her energy bars work and whatnot, you will not have a fun time playing versus her. Alright. Mlbb! I love this guy. Mlbb! I don't know why the browser source is so laggy. High A, I would say. I would say he's... This is going to sound like personal bias. I'm not going to lie. Okay, Mlbb, I would say low A. Dude, honestly, might be even high A. Only because of how easy he is to use, I'm going to put him right here. In terms of objectiveness, if I was rating based on pure hero alone, pure skill, I'd probably put him right here in B. But if you're trying to learn a new hero, and a fun one to boot, Mlbb, very enjoyable. Got a Kacha ult, but true damage. He does true damage. All his skills, all his damage is true damage after you hit your first skill. So you're really good versus tanks. You counter. He's actually one of the very few heroes that can just hard counter Biron. If you see someone pick Biron and you pick Mlbb, there is very little Biron can actually do into you because you hard counter his shields. In this game, true damage does damage through shields. So Biron's whole shield sustain will matter nothing. Alright. Lu Bang. I would want to put him in A, but I understand that not everyone knows how to macro really well on this character. So I'm going to put him in mid B. He's a very good utility hero, but you're not going to really be able to kill you in your lane. You kind of just go even and you farm. So if they pick like a farming Clash laner, it's really bad because they get the free farm and you can't punish it. But you can help a lot with your team. I love the fact that you can just insta-rotate, insta-TP, because that means you perma-split, insta-TP, you can get macro advantage. But everything I'm saying right now is all combining knowledge, game knowledge. So if you're new to the game, people won't expect you to ult to help team fights, but if you don't know when to ult, and if you don't know how to macro with your ult, you're not going to get full value out of him. So that's why I'm putting him low B. I probably put him in A if you know how to use him perfectly, or if you're pretty good at the game. But I think for a newbie perspective, I'll put him in B. Now I just realized now, I'm kind of contradicting myself when I say this tier list is meant for like new players in ranked, but I'm sort of basing it off of my rank in a way. Who cares? Okay, this is gonna be the first meme one. I've seen Lamb Clash. You die to it if you don't know what Lamb does. I've actually seen Lamb Clash in like 1600, 1700 peak. That's the only reason why I'm putting it here. So there are some meme one tricks that play this guy, but it's only going to. I've never lost versus it. It's only going to do good if you don't know how to play versus a Lamb or what Lamb does. Most of the time, you only see him win if you let him level 1 cheese kill you. Yao is actually decent, but I never lost into. I've lost a single time into Yao Clash, and that's when I've played Lee Sin for a meme. You lose into any of the Clash laners that are up here. You lose. The only way you win with Yao is if they ego fight you because they think you're a jungler playing Clash and you're trolling. But if any of these Clash laners play like it's normal versus a Yao Clash, they will win. So he's like borderline meme, almost the same state as Lamb. Except if you actually get fed on, not fed, if you actually get farm or just farm normally, you can still one-shot backline with Yao, because Yao is just a dumb character that way. Alright. Wu Yan. Because of how easy she is, I'll put her in A. Now, this hero, you just kind of full send it with your CC, you build a little damage, you can nuke backline, even nuke some bruisers, engage for your team. Very good overall. Honestly, I would just like I'll put her, she's better than Mlbb probably. Very easy to learn, not super hard, and that carries the fact. The fact that she's so easy to use, and she's actually decent, is why I'm putting her up here. Objective value, or like objectively, if everyone was peak, like playing their heroes at the best level, I'd probably put her in like high B. But I think because of how easy she is to use, that carries her. So if you want to learn a new hero, she's very easy to pick up and do good on. Alright, Diao Chan. Pray your team wins. I'm just going to put them all right here. Holy crap, lag. What is going on? Okay, these 4 heroes, these 4 Clash laners are the pray your team wins Clash laners, where you do nothing but perma splits, or you get a really big lead by dominating your lane splitting, and then you rotate. But you're still not going to have as much value as these other Clash laners unless you are thousands of gold ahead of your lane opponents. So Miyu is probably the best one. She was actually used in Pro. The only reason why she is the best one is because she hard counters Fati. She is like the only Fati counter. Fati genuinely cannot do anything into Miyu. The pros do not play Fati into Miyu. They use Miyu as a counter pick for Fati Clash. That is the only reason why she's honestly like because of that, she would be like D or C tier because she hard counters like the best Clash laner. But she's still this play. Nobody really, like the average player is not going to know that, and they're not going to play it like that. They're just going to play her and try constant fight because she can win. If you're a jungler or mid lane ganks and she is still fighting, she dies, and then if she falls behind, she's going to be useless because she needs to win lane or snowball. Now, Hino. Hino is a more of a definitive splitter because his ult just brings him back wherever he wants. He can TP and then ult back. With him, he's actually like the only one that has actual AoE damage. He can actually carry games if you get really fed with Hino because of how his skills work. If the mark is above you and he throws a skill in your direction, it'll just like hit you automatically or auto lock. I don't know exactly how it works, but he's still the same thing where you need to just farm. He can actually win lane though because of how his poke is, but you still need to just like hella farm. You're not gonna be too useful early. He needs to scale the hardest, I think. Yeah, out of all these heroes, he needs to scale the hardest and the farthest into late game. Diao Chan. I hate Diao Chan Clash. You can kill her very easily pre-4. I don't even see the point of it unless you're playing it versus someone who has no idea what Diao Chan does. I think she's actually terrible, and I don't see any Diao Chan that anybody goes do good. Even Hoon, when he plays Diao Chan, I never see him win. I don't know why he copes thinking she's good. I never see anyone do good on this hero. It's like it's so reliant on snowballing. If you're behind in this character and they have, it only works if they have 0 CC. If the enemies have 0 CC and you're allowed to perma-dash and get all your damage off, yeah, you're going to be doing good. But aside from that, I think she's terrible. Alright, Zhang Yu. Zhang Yu, I would say like a high B tier. High B tier hero. He has Terizla's passive, where he's super tanky when you're low HP. You get damage reduction. He has a lot of CC in his kit, and good damage overall. The lower you use your ult when you're low HP because it does more damage when you're low HP. Very good team utility. Can do a lot for his team. The only thing is, it's very hard to kill in your lane, solo kill. So most of the time you're just even farming and then rotating, and it's very hard to 100-0 someone or like burst someone unless you are low HP. So it's kind of an annoying prerequisite that you have to be low HP to do damage. You know what I mean? On to the next hero. We have Nurza, how we pronounce it, Sansu, and Mankey. Sansu, let's put him... I think he's actually really good. The problem is you fall off so hard in this hero unless you make insane sets. You have one of the strongest early game laning phases. You can kill like anyone early game lane phase if you play it right with your first skill, stun, and the stun spell. You can kind of just fight anyone and kind of win because of how your passive works. You get like bonus armor per skill that hits. I think that's how it works. But anywho, you're very strong early. I'll put him in like, and because the people don't expect his ults, especially when you're new to the game playing it, only really later in the game people are super aware of your ult. So you get like a lot of value. You can be super strong with this guy. I'll put him in low A. Mostly because of the fact that he's so easy to use. I would say in objective value, if I rate him at peak performance, I'd probably still keep him here, probably in low A, because people who know how to use macro really right, people who know how to macro really well, can get a lot of value out of him. Okay, Mankey, this is meme. Mankey is a meme clash. I've seen some Mankey clashes, they pick it and they just go smite and they permafarm, but it's like, it's on par with the prayer team wins, except you're playing Mankey, who is probably a lot more useful. Tank or damage. Mostly tank, you can actually do a lot. But it's also, I would say it's like actually meme worthy. He's probably better than Lamb in terms of the clash lane potential for meme. But yeah, I don't play Mankey enough to really explain to you how he works, but I don't ever really see it win when people pick it, and it's kind of just troll. Nurza, I would say high C. If you're like brand new to the game, you're actually gonna do really well. But you're gonna do really well on any character if you're brand new to the game. But I would say he's probably one of the better tanks because of the fact that you do so much damage, you do true damage, and you get more shield based on the damage that you do. But you're not gonna hard win for Solana Clash. It's actually probably better than high C. I'll put him in like B. Because you can fight a lot of people. If you play it well and you kite, you can fight like anyone. But all they have to do is just go in for burst of trades and not long fights, and they will beat you. Still pretty fun though. I would try him once at least if you're new, just to see how he feels. Because you want to know what every character does, so that we know how to play versus them. I'm gonna look at this a little more. Honestly, the A and B tier and C tier, it's like so many of these could be swapped at their peak best performance, but I'm just really trying to think about how easy they are to use as a factor. Like Mulan could be high A. Mean could be S. I think this is fine. I think the only thing people are really going to complain about is Elaine. They're going to think Elaine's better. But I really rarely ever see good Elaines in high elo. And I think it's like to play him really well, you have to actually be really good on him. And it just requires a lot of game knowledge about what people's mobility options are. Because it only really works well if you know that they have no ability. You know they have no flash, you know they have no dash. So then it's free for you to get your full combo off. But if they still have mobility and you don't know that, and you go in, you will be useless and you will die. So that's why I think he's so low here, because it requires such vast game knowledge of what heroes and backliners have for options that I don't think it's great for a new player. But yeah, I think this is pretty solid for a ranked Clash laner tier list for newer players coming into the game. Anywho, if you guys haven't already, appreciate very much if you'd like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hope you all enjoyed. I will see you all later. Bye-bye.